Hi, my name's Lindy Cowling and welcome to my channel. The website is www.lindycowling.co.uk and the way to contact me is email, which is info@lindycowling.co.uk. And before I launch in, two things. Firstly, I want to say Happy New Year to all of you that are watching this channel. Hope you had a lovely Christmas. Also, I want to say a really big heartfelt thank you to anyone and everyone that has subscribed and is continuing to subscribe to the channel, and all those that are watching or have ever watched any of my work, any of my videos. I was delighted to see that 3 days ago it tipped the 1 million views, and it was something I could never have anticipated when I was literally dragged onto YouTube by a wonderful filmmaker 4 years ago. I could never have dreamt or anticipated that 4 years later I'd still be doing this and it would be over 1 million people that have watched so far. So who knows where we're going from here, onwards and upwards as the channel develops, as a result of the cultural and consciousness shifts, the planetary shifts, the global shifts, and the shifts obviously within me, as the channel is very much a personal and professional kind of experiential perspective on everything I talk about here. So again, thank you so much, and let's just enjoy surfing the wave here. So the title of this evening's video, and this is the latest at night video I've ever recorded in the UK here, it is 5 past midnight on 9th of January 2018 actually. Latest one I've ever recorded, so I won't make it too long. Title is Can You Find the One? Can you find the one? So I'm going to do what I do with most of my videos. I usually have like a sliding scale. I either start at the top and work my way down in frequency or in the spirituality or on the woo-woo side of it, and then meet the anchored, balanced, linear side of it and meet somewhere in the middle, or I go all the way up the other end of the scale and start from the linear, more basic anchored side of it and then meet somewhere in the middle or go all the way up to the top. So let's start from the top first. If you are someone that's met a soulmate, if you are someone that's met a powerful connection, if you are someone that's met a soul connection, if you are someone that has met a twin flame, then almost certainly in your perspective, from your experience of your reality, you will almost certainly say you have met the one. Or you might say, if you are morphing into your quantum multidimensional self, you might say you have met a one. What do I mean by the one? If we're talking from the twin flame perspective, an aspect of you, the same soul, in more than one human body, in another human body, another human vehicle, an aspect of you. If you've met a matching aspect of consciousness, they don't have to be a matching aspect of soul. They can be someone that has matching consciousness to you. That's another aspect of a one. If you've met a soulmate, this might be someone that you've had past life history with, other timeline history with. There's might be some karmic thing going on there. Loads of different perspectives on it. There is recognition on that level. And so if you're having any of those experiences, you will interpret that as meeting the one, because you won't just be analytical about that. You will be feeling what you feel. You'll be loving who you love. You'll be having the chemistry, the hormones, the emotion, the recognition. You might have kundalini. You might have all of these gizmos going off in any kind of form of connection. And when you're in the middle of that experience, you are going to think of them as the one and the only one. People can meet connections like this all over the world, from all different cultures, all different categories, fall in love, always think of them as the one, and be with that one for the rest of their lives. And other people will meet aspects of matching consciousness, or meet aspects of matching soul, or meet soulmates, or meet matching aspects of themselves, and not only meet that or go through that experience once, but go through that experience in different forms, and in different ways, and on different frequencies and levels in a lifetime. So everybody is different. Is one better, excuse the pun, than the other? It's nothing to do with about being better than the other. It's really about, I think, one's quality of life, one's happiness, and one's growth, whatever connection you're in. There is no hierarchy to love. This is a statement I've made on this channel almost for 4 years now. It crops up every now and again in a video. There's no hierarchy to love. You can have depths of love and quality of love on all different levels with different people. Contrary to popular belief, you can love more than one person at the same time and in different ways. Just ask a mother and father that, who have 3, 4, 5 children. They don't love one child but not love the other child. Generally speaking, they have love for all of their children, no matter the sexuality, no matter the personality, no matter the age range. So the point I'm making here is there are no limitations to love. It's an expansive thing. The more we expand, the more we grow, the more you come into the realization that you can love other people in other ways, and there are no limitations to that. It's not just restricted. Now, when I say it's not just restricted, don't misinterpret me there. It is true to say that you can have a love or some loves that seem to equal a depth that you have never experienced with another being before. And it is true to say that as part of that experience, you can have extraordinary recognition, extraordinary reflection of self looking back at you through the eyes of a matching soul or a matching consciousness or a matching partner. And it is true to say that you can have this, whether it comes through soul, whether it comes through consciousness, whether it comes through both. And one depth of whatever category that is not higher than the other. They are all slightly different, but they all come out of that melting pot of love. I mean, you feel what you feel. Your chemicals are doing what your chemicals are doing. Your chemistry is doing what it's doing. Your hormones, your energy field, your emotional body, your mental body, your etheric body. That recognition on all levels. Love is love is love, and yet we can experience, that's a huge word, and yet many of us, millions of us, experience it in all different ways. And it is true that you can definitely have in your life experience connections with people that you would differentiate, especially as you get older. You would differentiate, especially when you look back as, oh my goodness, this was a love that was all about continuity, all about growing and bringing the children in and having that stability and great friendship and great harmony and growing together. Or you could say the opposite and say it was about all of those things for a certain period of time, but that you didn't grow together, but one outgrew the other. Or you could say you have or had a connection with somebody else and it was all about opening you up in the heart, elevating your consciousness to a different state. Or you could say you have or had a connection with somebody else that is all about a catalyst effect on your life, waking you up to the truth of who you are. All of these, when you are going through these experiences, when you are going through them, you are likely to interpret them according to your culture and society and belief systems, you're likely to interpret them as the one, or excuse me, a one. Why? Because you feel what you feel and you're responding to all those things, and love is love. And like I say before, you can love and go through the experience of love more than a few times in a lifetime. There may be some people watching this video who have never experienced love or a big connection in consciousness, or a big connection in the heart, or a big connection in soul with someone else. And there may be others watching this that have experienced these things and could talk to you for hours about the great love of their life and the great love story. And they will go to their grave always saying, that person I met, they were the one, they were my soulmate, they were my twin flame, they were my connection. And of course, maybe all of these things are true for them because it's their experience and it's their perception and perspective on it. But the title of this video is it possible to find the one, or is there the one? And what I would say to you, there's two ways of looking at it. I've demonstrated here many ways how we can say, well, yeah, that is the one. But there's another kind of twist to this here, is that there is a massive expectation in society at the moment, as part of that breakdown of the old relationship paradigm and the belief systems around relationships, and an impetus of getting the old form of relationships to grow in a way that they haven't been. As a result of that, there is you kind of like this underside here of expectation of that you can meet someone and spend your life with someone that ticks absolutely every conceivable box. Personally, I feel that that is entirely possible, but I don't feel that, how can I put it? I don't feel the whole purpose of that, if you are in a position where you meet someone that is connected with you on those ways, I don't feel that the whole purpose of that is actually in restriction of growth. I feel that even if that happens for you, you are still growing and evolving within it. And I'm not going to say that it still requires work. That wouldn't be the right word. What I'm saying is, well, it's funny, I'm going back to the first words I thought of on here about almost like surfing the waves here of growth and consciousness, and we're all surfing the waves now. Things are moving really quickly. What I would say to you is, I would say that you can have harmonization and a 0-point field of connection once so many of your triggers and belief systems and things are gone, but there is still growth taking place. So there's still movement taking place, because movement taking place is part of nature and is part of life force. And when there is not movement taking place, whether it is with a one, your perspective or perception of the one, if there's not movement and growth taking place, if you are not flowering internally, either before you meet them or as a result of being around them, if you're not flowering into more than you were, your perspective more than it was before they came into your life, then during your connection or relationship with them, you may find that that happens. You may find that there is continual growth. And even when I've said on earlier videos here about conscious connections where it's much more harmonious and balanced than some forms of soul connection, there's no, that all the way I've said along, there's still continuous growth and movement. Even in the most harmonious and easy of connections, there is still growth and creativity, and the qualities coming out of you that are, let's say, your optimal qualities, your truthful qualities, your compassionate qualities, your loving qualities. And again, at this point in time, so much of, let's say, the relationship paradigm or the new relationship paradigm, it's not just about the relationship. The knock-on effect of it is almost like an act of service thing going on, that as one becomes more conscious of them, of their own reality, of their own growth, of the people and how they're interacting with and how they're interacting with them, and creators of all of that as living vibrant life force. As all this is taking place, the knock-on act of service thing is it is raising the consciousness not just of them but of the collective. So everybody's a winner out of that. It is a minefield, and it's like I say, it's a challenging question, because there's a double-edged sword, because there is massive expectation on holding out for the one, and there always being the one somewhere for everyone. And it really is a matter of perspective and perception. It's everybody's interpretation of what that means. On one level, what you would say that means is being seen, I could say in a way respected, acknowledged for who you are in every level, valued, I guess, for who you are, not just as a physical being, but as a spiritual being, as a soul, all of these things, as a human, all of these things, all one and the same, different aspects. For one person, they may place one more importance on one part of that equation, the more human part of the equation. For another person, it may be the more spiritual part of the equation. It depends where you're looping in, as according to your own consciousness, your own belief systems, your own expectations, your own spiritual growth, and your own awareness. But finally, in closing, because I could talk about it all night and go round and round in circles, what I would say in answer to this question, really, well, everybody, I feel really, I say everybody, is a huge belief system, almost like a fairy tale thing, culture, that about finding the one, and is there the one, and is there the only one? Personally, I feel that there is, or are, I should say, unlimited possibilities to connect with people in a multitude of ways that would give you an affirmative answer to that. Because from your perception and reality and how you're feeling and that love you feel, you would think of them as the one. And there are some people, like I say, they'll meet someone, and for a lifetime they will never forget that someone, and always think of them as the love of their life, or the great love of their life, and the one. And that will never change. And they will, doesn't mean to say that they won't fall in love with someone else, or have a wonderful relationship with someone else, or a partnership with someone else. And it's important for me to say, no matter how many people you would meet over a span of a lifetime, one doesn't take away the value of another. It's where they're at that time, where you're at that time. You can only really base it in that second, in that infinite moment, in that experience at that time. And at that time, they may well be your one, and you may think of them as your one and your one and only. In other words, sometimes maybe it's the passage of time that doesn't devalue that, or say that we didn't feel what we felt and it didn't mean what it meant, and they won't always be a part of our heart. But with the passage of time, knowing that the more you expand into that and don't limit yourself, almost restrict yourself into just fixing on an idea or a dream or even a reality that you have been the one with the one, or been around the one, or have met the one, but realizing that, well, just as the passage of nature, autumn comes, the leaves fall, and then it moves into winter, and then the winter moves into spring, and then the spring moves into summer. Things change, they shift, you go through seasons, and rather than get caught up along the way, which so many of us do, getting stuck in one season, we get stuck grieving for the leaves that fall from the trees, or grieving for the end of summer, yearning for the flowers to come out. Rather than doing that, just literally almost like accepting in a way that anything and everything is possible, and that the love that you could potentially feel for another person or others doesn't take away from a love that you've experienced before, any more than if you have one child and you love that child to bits, and then a few years later you've got 3 or 4 children. It doesn't take away from the love that you felt for the first one. You still love the first one. Your love has expanded miraculously. It's almost the accepting the idea that you can have amazing, miraculous experiences with other people that can be beautiful and wonderful in their own right, that are still aspects of the petals of the flower, fractals of the flower that you are. And in that sense, you know, we come back to that infinite, again, question of, can we meet the one or find the one? And my answer to that is most definitely yes, but not in just one form necessarily. Not just in one linear, one form. It is possible to experience that multidimensionally in other forms, and it doesn't take away, none of this takes away from any of it. All the love experiences that you have all contribute to the expansion of your heart. You could say to me, that's not true. They all contribute to the breaking of your heart. If you've betrayed, if you've been hurt, if you've been betrayed, if you've been cheated on, if the love has died, if the person you love has left you, we can't take away from that experience. But what we can say within the passage of time, if you like, going back to that word again, we can either have those experiences break us, or we can have those experiences make us. And on that note, I will love you and leave you. Gosh, this is 12:30 here, almost, in the UK. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing for the channel, and thank you for contributing in all the ways that you do. I'll love you and leave you, and see you again soon. Bye, guys. Bye.